Are we witnessing the next chapter in the race to connect the planet? For years, getting reliable, high-speed internet to remote corners of the world has been a massive challenge. But a revolution is underway, happening hundreds of kilometers above our heads. Today, we're setting our sights on the stars, or rather a low Earth orbit, to talk about Amazon's monumental Project Kuiper. This isn't just another tech project. It's an ambitious plan to deploy 3,236 satellites into space with the goal of providing global broadband access. Fresh off a significant launch of 27 production satellites on April 28, 2025, Amazon is now a major player in the rapidly intensifying satellite internet competition, going head-to-head with competitors like SpaceX's Starlink. So what makes Kuiper different? How will this battle for the skies change your internet experience? Stick around as we explore Amazon's bold step into a new era of connectivity. So what do you think about this, John?
I think this is great. I think this is timely. I think that their deployment timeline is aggressive. So let's just talk about it real quickly. So they launched their first 27 internet satellites from, I think, Cape Canaveral, and I haven't heard Cape Canaveral in a long time. I don't know if they're like it's used regularly, but I just haven't heard anything launched from there in a while. But again, I could be wrong. I could have just missed it. So yeah, it's a $10 billion initiative. Okay, the reason why I say it's aggressive is because they're looking. So Project Kuiper aims to deploy 3,236 satellites by 2029. They've launched 27. Could they do it? Potentially. To put that into perspective with Starlink, Starlink currently has 8,000 satellites already in orbit. So the cool thing I like about this is obviously it's an alternative to Elon Musk, who I'm not a huge fan of. And the other thing is Amazon's integration with AWS and potentially cheaper terminals. So that could help disrupt the market. But what I'm hearing, and this is why I think it's kind of aggressive, is there's production delays and obviously regulatory deadlines as well as now with all these tariffs and stuff. What's going to happen? What do you think about these? Do they have a chance against Starlink, you think?
Well, I don't know of any company in any industry that doesn't have competition. I was thinking about this earlier as I was reading through this and thinking about it. Starlink is so far ahead, but that doesn't mean anything. So, I mean, it means, they've got 8,000 plus satellites out there. They've launched since 2019, but and they have so many services. The question is, who's getting the contracts? Is Amazon going to be allowed to service countries that perhaps Elon won't? Will we get different maybe Amazon gets a contract for India. Let's just say, I'm just throwing some stuff out there, and that's billions of people, right? So there are potential here. And the other thing, people don't realize that, most of this stuff is actually made for the military. And
I didn't know that.
So there is a military version of Starlink. I think it's called Shield Link. I'm not 100% sure, but it's used by the military for this exact reason. But they also use it to target enemies. You can use this to target enemy tanks, enemy sites, or whatever. Their military version of this. And if you remember back, and I'm going a little bit off, you remember back when Elon shut off or threatened to shut off satellite internet to the Ukraine?
Yeah.
That's because it had nothing to do with civilian. It had to do with military using his stuff to target and in the war, and that wasn't part of the contract and wasn't part of the deal. And so just for everyone to understand that this stuff was going on, and he's like, whoa, you're throwing me in the middle of this war that I didn't agree to. And so there was some stuff going on there. So there's a huge military contracts related to getting stuff out there as well as connecting and doing satellite stuff. So it's great to have alternatives, and it's great to have competition, because especially from a government level, I think it's best to have multiple contracts and multiple vendors so that you aren't relying on one when stuff goes down. How many times over the last couple of years have we seen, things have gone down because of a reliance on one thing, like the Cloudflare, like the Microsoft blue screen and whatnot. So let's talk about this technology. The Project Kuiper satellites will operate at slightly higher altitudes from 590 to 630 kilometers compared to Starlink's 550 deployment. Ideally, this is supposed to, I guess, cover more area, so you necessarily need less satellites to cover. I don't, yeah, they're not allowed to offer this service until they have 527 satellites deployed, from what I understand. I'm not sure if that's the exact number, but we'll see if I find it in this article. Project Kuiper satellites aim to bring broadband service to regions previously underserved by traditional infrastructure. So, reducing the digital divide, creating new markets, enabling real-time communication with the remote business institutions. This really allows us potentially to enhance our IoT stuff. As soon as our stuff that's way out in the field can have a low-cost satellite connection and can communicate back, that means, all your windmills, all your remote monitoring stuff, whatever, now, instead of all that low-tech, low bandwidth, Wi-Fi solutions we were talking about that go 20 miles but only carry a few K, now you can get really high-end internet for those things and have some real-time stuff. I don't know if they're going to be able to compete with Elon. I think Elon is so much farther ahead in the overall space game.
Yeah.
I think go ahead.
And it's not like Amazon's reinventing the wheel here with any kind of new tech. The only difference, so they're both using OISLs, which is intersatellite links, which is laser links for the high-speed data transfer between the satellites.
Yep.
The one difference is that Starlink uses KU band and Kuiper uses KA band. That's just bandwidth-wise, but apparently KU band could penetrate clouds better than KA band. That's one difference. So that might be a problem for Kuiper, but everything else is pretty much the same. So the technology is the same. Like you said, Amazon's are a little bit higher in orbit. And that's it. Like they're planning to offer sub 400 standard terminals and high bandwidth terminals, but that's pretty much it. And so some of the research I was doing is that analysts are estimating that Project Kuiper could cost $17 billion upfront, with annual losses of 1 to 2 billion initially, which would, because Amazon's trying to undercut Starlink's pricing, right? But Amazon has deep pockets, right, to do this. So if anyone's going to do it, then I think Amazon's the one to do it, eh?
Well, the other difference is, before I answer that question, is Amazon has this anti-reflective mirror film specifically designed to mitigate light pollution. Apparently, some of the complaints around Elon Musk satellites is the reflective nature and some of the light pollution in the sky. So Amazon's trying to avoid that with this and maybe get some better points with that through whatever.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I don't know, how much light pollution is a concern. Like, from whatever's up there already. Like, it's up there. Are we, like, is it bothering you? Like, I don't know what it means. You know what I mean by
I guess it would bother me if I was still looking, like, using a telescope to look up at the night sky and things like that, and you see, like, this string of lights come by every so often. Like, that would be annoying.
Yeah, and I like the idea of putting this reflective mirror to mitigate light pollution, but it also feels a little bit stealthy. Like, maybe it's harder to find the satellites in the sky. So I don't know. It's a great idea. If light pollution is a thing, to start mandating this type of stuff, because the film is easy to put on all the other stuff. Probably, I'm sure it's not anything specifically proprietary.
Yeah.
So that is different, but and they're so far ahead. SpaceX is so far ahead. Like, for example, Amazon has secured a commercial agreement for 8 Atlas V rockets and 38 Vulcan rockets, demonstrating their long-term commitment to get this stuff in the air. I mean, so they're using third-party rockets where SpaceX has all their own now. It's just like how far they are. Oh, yeah. And the new
what's Amazon Blue Origin?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're just not, they can't compete at this stage. Now, it doesn't mean they can't leapfrog them, doesn't mean they can't, because this is what happens in most of these things. Once they get going and they have their satellite stuff up game running, they'll start leapfrogging each other from a technology point of view. But SpaceX is so much ahead, and their satellite thing is about the size of a book now, and it's amazing. And so I wonder, we'll have to see what. So you get something the size of a book you take with you everywhere, and you have super high speed internet, and it's amazing. So let's see what Amazon comes up with. But to answer your question, you said, is Amazon the company to do this? Amazon traditionally doesn't do things well. Like they know how to do delivery, they know how to do warehousing, they know their core product, they know how to do well, and they seem to know how to do data infrastructure, like their back end AWS servers. It's not exactly user friendly, but it's fairly rock solid. And setting it up is more complicated than any other ones, but they haven't plowed ahead in AI. They haven't plowed ahead in the phone business. They were trying to get in the tablet business.
True. They had a phone. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I look at this and I say, I don't know if they can actually lead the charge. They can have another also ran. I just don't expect them to be the leader in this space.
Yeah.
So
that's right. I think the biggest problem, though, with their tablets and their phones, I think the biggest problem that they had, and sorry, we're getting off topic here, their OS is just absolute shit. Fire OS is absolutely horrible. It's a horrible instance of Android. Their tablets themselves are decent. Like if you break in and install something else on it, they're great. But yeah, it's just bloatware like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, and they're thick and kludgy. And Amazon is, a multi-billion-dollar company. There is no reason that shouldn't have been a better product, hardware and software. So anyway, it's just the way it goes. And that's why we look at this stuff. And I'm curious. It's great that SpaceX has. And what is Elon's thing? Is it SpaceX for the satellites? Starlink. Thank you. Sorry, I scrolled past it and I keep getting all the names mixed up. We'll have to see how many other competitors are led into this space, because it's highly regulated how many satellites up there. And when are we going to see
crazy?
When are we going to get global competition, say from Russia or China or whatever? I'm not being negative from their hostile countries. I'm just saying other industrial states are going to be putting their competitive internet products. I don't know why China doesn't offer internet to everyone via satellites. They don't necessarily have them up there, but curious.
Yeah.
So
have you seen like a map of like all the satellites that are currently out there around Earth? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I saw one a couple of years ago, but I haven't seen one since then. I imagine it's getting worse.
Yeah, just getting worse. Yes.
From its planned constellation of thousands of satellites operating at various altitudes to its technical innovations like anti-reflective coating designed to address light pollution concerns, Amazon is clearly serious about reshaping global connectivity. This intense competition with companies like Starlink is not just interesting to watch, it's driving rapid advancement and could ultimately mean better, more accessible internet services for people and businesses everywhere. So as Rajiv Badial, a key figure in Project Kuiper, noted, this is just the start of our journey. The potential implications for reducing the digital divide, enabling remote businesses, and enhancing IoT deployments are huge. So as Amazon pushes forward with deployments in constellation and aiming for customer service after its first 578 satellites are in place, we have to ask, given the escalating competition among satellite internet providers like Amazon, SpaceX, and others, what aspect of the new era connectivity are you most excited or concerned about it? Let us know in your comments below.
Well, so there'll be a Startup Investor Drinks in June. I've got my head down for my Shred clients and grants and things like that. But if you do want some help, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, John Irwin. But if they need help with coaching for their business, anything related to helping them with their business, how do they find you, Craig?
Well, Startup Investor Drinks is June 26th. So mark your calendars, go to Startup Investor Drinks TO and get your tickets. We will be having a automation event during Tech Week as well. I just haven't booked it yet, so look forward to that. And if people want coaching, if you're stuck, you can go to startupcoach.ca or click on the Startup Coach button, book a discovery call. I'll have a 15-20-minute call, and we'll see if it makes sense to work together, if we can help each other, you like our style, that kind of stuff. Feel free to book that free call anytime. And for everything else, check it out at torontostarts.com. And if you're looking to automate your business, take it to the next level, stop doing the repetitive tasks, check out flowgrammer.ca for all your automation resources. And if people looking for non-dilutive funding, John, where do they go?
Come find me on LinkedIn, John Irwin. Yeah. any kind of non-dilutive funding. I guess in June right now, we'll have maybe FedDev open right now. So
Awesome. And just as we said that, I got a new TidyCal booking right now for Startup Coach Meeting. Thanks, somebody,
Nice.
for watching and booking that. We'll see you all next time on Silicon Scoop. Thanks for listening.